Hello, everyone. It is me, Danielle J. Mitchell, your up and coming queen of real estate, and I'm here for another episode of Tuesday Tip at 2. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. It is me, Danielle J. Mitchell, queen of real estate and social media extraordinaire. I am here for today's and this week's Tuesday Tip at 2. So I am going to talk about 10 tips of what not to do during your home loan under contract journey. Okay, this is what not to do while you are under contract for your homes. Okay, 10 tips, 10 not to do's. Now, if you don't know, I'm a PA licensed realtor and I service Philadelphia and the surrounding counties, which would include but are not limited to the Delaware County, Montgomery County, Bucks County, Chester County, and any other counties in the surrounding area. So if you are interested in looking in those areas, you know what you would need to do. You need to go to book.djmrealtyco.com. Again, that is book.djmrealtyco.com and schedule your buyer consultation, seller consultation, investor consultation, whatever consultation is available to you. Go there today if you're looking to buy and or sell or even invest. Now, of course, I want to say hello, new subscribers, and thank you for joining the channel, and thank you for pushing that subscribe button. If you have not, I need you to push that subscribe and all notifications button so you can get updates on my weekly Tuesday Tips at 2 and my shorts, because I like to post good shorts. So you want to check that out too. Now, let's jump into what not to do when you are under contract. So this is the time of the home buying process where you have looked for properties and you have decided on a property that you want to put in an offer for, and the offer was accepted. Yay! That's a great, wonderful moment in time. However, during this time of being officially under contract and having your offer get accepted, there are some key things that you should not do. Should not, could not, would not. You should not do any of these top 10 things. And shout out to my amazing lender that I work with all the time, Mike DeGilio from Movement Mortgage, because really he gave me this idea because he sent this wonderful list to my client who just got under contract. And I was like, I need to talk about this. I think I've talked about it before in some ways, shape, or form in different videos, but I'm going to talk about it specifically today in these specific things. Let's start with number one. Number one, do not change jobs. Become self-employed or quit your job. Don't do any of those things. Now, one would think, and this is probably going to come up a lot, one would think on this list is like, well, duh. But trust and believe, my lender in his wisdom has sent and continues to send these to clients who go under contract because in his experience, as well as my own experience, people do very interesting things when they go under contract, okay? And sometimes we think, oh, I'm changing jobs. It's not a big deal. In some cases, it is not a big deal, okay? So there are specific scenarios where it's okay to change jobs. I've had clients change jobs during a transaction, right? But in those cases, it was the same type of job. There was really no lapse in between the changing of jobs and all that thing. So if you're going to change jobs, would behoove you to speak with your lender about the situation, about the scenario, so that you can do it properly, so there's no problems, all that good stuff, okay? So it's just communication is key to all of these things on here, but especially if you're doing anything life-changing, you have to talk with your lender, and you're under contract for a house, you have to talk with your lender, okay? So do not change jobs, okay? So number two, do not buy a car. Do not buy a car, truck, van. Okay. Don't buy any vehicles. Okay. So meaning not even really with cash, because if it's cash coming from your bank account. So I'm not even going to just say don't buy it outright or don't lease it. But even if you're using cash, if that's the cash that you have in reserves to buy a house, the lender factors that in. So if you go and take it and be like, I'm just going to use it for X, talk to your lender first. Talk to your lender first. I'm going to keep reiterating that for every step. Talk to your lender first. So do not go. I had a client And actually, I was working with this lender, with this client, who she had applied to get a mortgage the same day that she went to get a vehicle. And so we did not find out about this vehicle until well into her being under contract, because it didn't hit, right? It doesn't show up on your credit until it takes some time to show up on your credit. And so when we saw that it was on her credit, we were like, oh no. And I'm going to go into why you cannot do these things at the end of this. I'm going to tell you why at the end of this. But it showed up on her credit, and we were scrambling to try to figure out, oh no, what are we going to do? Luckily, we were able to still move through to the process. We had to make some adjustments, but we were still able to figure out and press in, and make it to the finish line. But do not do that. Number 3, do not use charge cards excessively or let your accounts fall behind. Okay, so the same usage of credit cards that you were doing before, do the same thing, right? And make sure you're paying them. Don't let them fall behind. Okay, number 4, spend money you have set aside for closing. Don't do that. Don't spend that money. If you saved up your portion of money, this is not the time to buy things for the house after closing. All right, do it then. Do not, number 5, omit debts or liabilities from your loan application. So you have to be honest about your debts, your liability. You have to be honest about all the information that you're presenting and that is in your loan application. Number 6, do not buy furniture. Okay, a lot of times you go to a Raymore and Flanagan, Ashley Furniture, all the different stores. Like, yes, I can get approved for some credit. I'm gonna get 10,000, 15,000 worth in credit. Or even if you're using your cash reserves, you think it's okay, but it is not. Don't do it. Wait. Once you sign all the paperwork, have at it. But until such a time, just wait. Number 7, originate any kinds of inquiries into your credit. No more new inquiries. Okay, do not make any new inquiries in your credit. Again, I'll be applying for a new line of credit, no credit cards, no anything like that. Do not, number 8, make large deposits into your bank account without checking with your loan officer first. Let's talk about it now. Say your taxes hit your account. That's fine. That's no problem. But say you get a lump sum of money, and you got a cash under your mattress, and you're like, I'm gonna finally deposit it now because I want to have it in my bank account for this transaction. Don't do it. Talk with your lender first. Number 9, don't change bank accounts. Keep it consistent. You can do whatever you want with your bank accounts after closing, but don't change them. And do not, what you shouldn't do this anyway, co-sign a loan or anything for that matter, a car, a credit card. Don't co-sign for anyone. That's number 10 while you're under contract. Now, let's talk about why. Why, Danielle? Why can't I do any of these things? Why? Because it affects your debt to income ratio. Let's review and talk about what debt to income ratio is, as well as what that looks like. All right. So your debt to income ratio, or DTI, is the ratio of the total debts divided by the gross income before taxes, expressed as a percentage, right? Usually on either a monthly or annual basis. A quick example is if someone's monthly income is 1,000 and they spend 480 on debt each month, their DTI ratio is 48%. If they had no debt, their ratio would be 0. Saying to yourself, why does any of this matter? I don't understand. What is the point? Why is it the point? Why can you not do certain things? Because your loan, your pre-approval amount was based on a certain debt to income ratio. That's how you knew that, hey, I can get a $350,000 house because it's based on your DTI, your debt to income ratio. Now, if you have gotten under contract with a property, and maybe you're pushing the limit of your budget, right? Because there are certain loans that you can have that would allow you a certain percentage or DTI in order for you to qualify for the loan. So let's say, I don't know the exact ones for FHA and for conventional, but certain loan packages may say you can be at 51%. That's the highest you can be at your debt to income ratio. For some, it's 46, for some it's 43%, so that's like the highest. Now, if you do any of the things that we talked about, it changes your debt to income ratio, meaning your monthly amount allotted that will qualify you for a mortgage. So let's break it down on this calculator. So let's say that you're making $60,000 a year, and that's your rent cost here. And that's your credit cards. Now, credit cards, when lenders take credit cards into account, they're taking into account the minimum payment, not how much you have outstanding, but your minimum payment. So let's say your minimum payment per month is $25 or $50. That's how they factor that in. Any student loans you have, let's say it's, $150 a month you're paying your student loan. Auto loan, let's say $550 there because you have a vehicle. And those are the things that is taken into expense. It's typically your credit cards, any loans that you have, any personal loans. Let's say you have a personal loan and you pay $60 a month on it, right? And of course, this can also, in this calculator, if you pay child support, alimony, anything like that, you have to also, that is also factored in to your debts in order to determine your debt to income ratio. So let's go ahead and calculate. So this one here will put you at 43%, which I believe is allowable with a FHA loan. I'm pretty sure it's allowable for conventional loan. I think for FHA, this is probably pretty high at the max. So with this mortgage calculator, if you plug in a few things here, again, annual income, how much your minimum credit card payments are, your car loans, any other loans here, then you will see what the ratio calculates. And you can also determine that your monthly payment for your current mortgage is going to be, and you can even do the sliding scale. So if you want to see, hey, can I push it up a little bit more? What can I afford up there? Now, of course, you also have to determine and make sure you know the taxes of the area that you're looking to move in, because it would include, your mortgage payment would include taxes as well as your insurance. And like I said before, if it's an HOA or any condo fees and things like that. So that's why it's important to note that if I go ahead and make a calculation, you get a new vehicle. Number one, it's a hit to your credit. Number two, if your payment went up, it can change your monthly. And if you're already at that tippy top or edge of your budget, then that's one of the reasons why it is not a good thing. Or even in your minimum credit, say it shot up to 1,000 or something like that, that makes a huge difference from 200, right? If you co-sign for somebody and the minimum payments, because you're a co-signer, they see you as both paying paying for it, and it's 600 a month, that makes a difference in your affordability. It can push the envelope up a lot. When you're going to buy a house, they do factor in child support payments, absolutely, and they do factor in if you're not paying them and you're ordered to pay them. So that's another thing. So if you're behind and they're like, oh, a judgment was just ruled and you have to pay this amount per month, changes things, right? Changes it a whole lot. So that's what you have to consider when you're doing all the things you're not supposed to do. Okay. It will change your debt to income ratio and can make it so that your loan gets rejected and you no longer qualify. At the very least, you can't go through getting that home. You might be able to qualify, but for something less. So you have to come out of contract for that home and get something that's for less money. Okay. And probably not comparable for the house you were under contract for in the first place. Right. So don't do it. Don't do it. So that is all for today's and this week's Tuesday Tip at 2. I just want to let you guys know these are the don'ts. The don'ts, not the do's, but the don'ts to when you're under contract. These are things that you don't want to do because you want to make sure you get to the finish line. Don't jeopardize your opportunity to get there. Now, if you're interested in buying or selling or just, investing in real estate, whatever you're trying to do, I can help you. You can go to book.djmrealtyco.com. Again, that is book.djrealty. No, that's book.djmrealtyco.com. And you can go ahead and sign up there. Until next time, there's no place at home, no place like home buying, and I will see you next week for all new Tuesday Tip at 2. Bye. Have a great, wonderful week.